When you first look at the Meizu Pro 6 Plus, I'd forgive you if you didn't immediately recognize it. I've honestly had a hard time distinguishing the phone from Meizu's cheaper MX6, which I reviewed a few months back. As you can see, Meizu is sticking to the same iPhone-Samsung design mashup, which features an aluminum unibody with a powder coat finish and 2.5D glass around the front. The design isn't original by any means, but it is well executed. The Pro 6 Plus is a big phone, but its 7.3mm thin body and rounded corners allow the phone to comfortably rest in your hand as you stretch to reach the far corners of its 5.7-inch display. To make up for the large footprint, Meizu has bumped up the resolution of the display when compared to the MX6. You get a Quad HD Super AMOLED panel, which is stunning from nearly every angle, and visibility in direct sunlight is actually good as well. While we complain about overcomplicated software from time to time on devices from Samsung, LG, and Huawei, we wish Meizu would have done a little bit more with the bare-bones software build that it's running with Android 6.0. Now don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the fact that there's absolutely zero bloatware installed on this device, but it would have been nice if they would have added a few more features into the software. An example of this would be the minimal effort that they put into supporting the phone's 3D touch display. Pressing hard on the phone's settings, phone, camera, and a few other app icons shows contextual menus for each app, but the support of the feature ends there. It wouldn't have been too hard to add generic contextual menus to third-party apps, which allowed you to change features like notification settings or even uninstall the app when hard pressing on the icon. Since the phone is mainly intended for the Chinese market, it doesn't come with Google Play pre-installed. Fortunately, that's easily remedied through the included Google Apps installer that's preloaded on the phone and downloads and installs everything you need to get the Play Store up and running. The Meizu Pro 6 Plus does run on Android, but navigating the phone's UI does take a bit of getting used to. The phone uses a combination of gestures, presses, and taps, which are used to replace the on-screen navigation bar. In addition to acting as the fingerprint scanner, the button on the front is used for a couple different things. Pressing the button will take you to the home screen. A simple tap will make it act like the back button, and a press and hold will actually turn off the display. And to access your recent apps, you'll have to swipe up with your finger from the bottom of the display. Finding a phone with decent performance is getting easier and easier these days, especially when you're talking about phones built by Chinese manufacturers. The Pro 6 Plus is no exception. It may not be as fast as the OnePlus 3T with its Snapdragon 821 processor, but the octa-core Exynos 8890 chip inside this phone has enough power to spare. As we saw last year with the Samsung Galaxy S7, the Exynos 8890 is a great chip for gaming and is fast enough to satisfy the demands of the most arduous multitasker. Just be sure to switch on the performance mode in the settings, since the default balance mode reduces power consumption and throttles the CPU to increase battery life. If you don't touch any of the settings, the 3400 mAh battery inside this thing holds enough juice to keep you going for a day and a half on a single charge, with roughly 5 hours of screen on time. Switching to performance mode will cut your usage down to roughly a day, but it still manages 4 hours of screen on time. Where Meizu's flagship smartphone starts to disappoint is in the camera department. On paper, the phone should be just as good as most of 2016's flagship smartphones, but the results are a little lackluster. If you're snapping pictures in good lighting, the shots turn out just fine, but quite a bit of detail is lost when the lighting isn't ideal, as the ISO is cranked up significantly. You'll also have a number of blurry shots to contend with, since the phone doesn't come with optical image stabilization. But the camera isn't all bad. Macro shots turn out really well, and the manual mode allows you to adjust the settings on your own, allowing you to capture some decent shots. The front-facing 5-megapixel camera isn't anything special, but the images turn out well. And if you want to make yourself look a little bit better, the built-in beauty mode will remove your blemishes and give you a thinner face. Meizu isn't going to be winning any awards for the Pro 6 Plus, but the phone is definitely competitive with other devices which sell for less than $450. It doesn't lead the pack in any specific category, but it's far from being the worst budget flagship smartphone out there. If you don't mind Meizu's unique navigation setup and want a sleek-looking, powerful Android phone, the Pro 6 Plus is definitely worth considering. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you're not sure if the Meizu Pro 6 Plus is the smartphone for you, we have a couple other smartphone reviews that are worth checking out.